Well, I'm likely going to be saying some offensive things here. Some things that could be wrong. At least if I judge by many discussions throughout the years. These are things that I believe, but I can likely be persuaded with enough good information. Without it, don't expect me to just suddenly change my views. It's got to be something significant for me to change them, so. But I somewhat feel that my current views are stopping me from moving forward in some way. So I figure the best way to tackle them is to talk about them. Something that I'm really struggling with is monoculturalism versus melting pot versus multiculturalism. I've pushed and promoted the notion of a melting pot for years now. That there's a primary culture, but it gets melted with all the people that come here. All the people that come here, they slightly assimilate, but they still leave behind all the things from their culture, and everyone else can grab from those things, and it just becomes something where you kind of get the best of the best, we adopt the things that we collectively like from them, but we're not telling them that they can't have their culture. They can have it. But there needs to be some assimilation in order for people in order for there to be some sort of social cohesion. And I view this sort of thing very positively. I most definitely do not believe in monoculturalism and full assimilation. It's unreasonable to expect out of a country that was built by immigrants. Who gets to call those shots? No, there's not going to be a white Christian ethno-state. Give up. But multiculturalism is different than either of those, and I'm not a big fan, even though it's better, far better than monoculturalism. With multiculturalism, people coming here can fully keep the cultures that they're from and not really assimilate into much of anything except for what they have to do legally, as long as they follow the laws. And some people seem to get offended if people borrow from their cultures. There just seems to be an attachment between multiculturalism and being offended at cultural appropriation. And then we end up giving extra chances to those who come here who have broken the law. We give them extra chances because the places where they lived, those sorts of things weren't a big deal. So if the only way forward is to embrace multiculturalism and the notion that there are no common standards, rules, roles, customs, and even values, then so be it. It's certainly not what I would prefer, and I don't know how sustainable it is. And I have concerns about us possibly becoming an even lower trust society than we already are. But if that's our future, then so be it. Maybe someone can point to a society that became higher trust after they became more multicultural. It very may well exist. And I'm not going to claim that the common culture here, the melting pot culture of sorts, or the attempted monoculturalism of sorts, I'm not going to claim that they look positively towards me as a gay man, or maybe even black people. It might not look positively towards black people. But it's gotten better in both of those areas over the years, so our primary common culture here is pretty much based in patriarchal ideas, Christianity, heteronormativity, and white supremacy, and all the standards, roles, rules, customs, and values that are associated with them. Wokeness is an attempt to dismantle all of those things, regardless of the outcome and regardless of how reasonable the replacements are. Wokeness seems very attached to multiculturalism. But perhaps I'm coming from the wrong place. Let me know in the comments. Thanks.